Today we're going to be building out a couple of rigs for the Sony FX3 using a couple of different cages from Small Rig. Now, yes, I know the FX3 does have mounting holes on it, but they're not in the best places. There's also not a lot of them, so you can't really mount that much stuff. So that's why it's necessary sometimes to use a cage. We've got two different ones from Small Rig here. They're full cage for the FX3 and then they're half cage for the FX3. We'll start by building out the full cage. So to attach this to the FX3, you actually have a couple of different points to mount it. Now this cage is the full one. This is part number 3277, and I'm using this tool, which is 2213, to attach everything today. This tool from Small Rig is really useful just because anything that they make, this has all the parts on it that you'd need. All the screws or the Allen key sizes, and then obviously your flathead as well. So we attach that in the bottom there. And then like the A7S3 mount, there's also another screw mount that you can attach to this, just so if this does get loose, it's not going to swivel inside the cage there. So on the FX3 full cage here from Small Rig, you actually have a little hole on the side right there. Just check my top-down view. There we go. And screw that in. Where are we? We are this guy right here. Screw you in. Okay, so now your camera is in its cage. Now you will see that there is an HDMI clamp on here as well. If you wanted to buy that, it's part number 3279. Now the HDMI clamp is actually designed specifically for these cages. It mounts right on the front there, it just unscrews, as you can see. I believe this does come in the kits when you buy the cage, but otherwise you can buy it separately and it just attaches to the front of the cage right there, and you'll see what that's for in a little bit. Okay, so next thing, we want to put the monitor on the top of the cage here. Now I'm using a Portkeys monitor right now. Normally I'd use the Atomos Ninja 5 with the cage for the Atomos Ninja 5, but I'm using it to record this video, so we're just gonna pretend with this Portkeys one. Now, the part that I've got to attach the monitor to the cage is this is the Nato monitor clamp with lock, part number 2347.
Hey, yeah, intermission, Chris here. So listen, a lot of you don't subscribe to this channel. You continuously watch the videos every week, which I'm thankful for, thank you, but you don't subscribe. So maybe try clicking that button down below, click that bell too, because it sends you the videos. YouTube doesn't like to send the videos out as notifications. You can be one of the first commenters, and I always respond to the first however many comments before it gets mad down there. There's no commitment. You're not signing up for a contract. Maybe try it. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Now this attaches via a Nato rail, so we need to put a Nato rail on the top of the cage here. Now I have this little one right here, which is part number 2172, and that very easily goes on the top down view there. You can see there's a bunch of bolt holes, and we just literally attach that directly into the top just here. You could use one, but I would definitely recommend using two, just because if one gets loose, then you don't want your monitor falling off. With two, it's not really gonna get loose. Pop that on there like that. Okay, so that's on there like so. Then for the monitor, this literally screws into the bottom. Any monitor is gonna have a thread on the bottom there, and you just screw this directly in. Now the nice thing about this mount for the monitor is this one swivels as well as tilts. So normally when you get one like this, it just tilts, or if you want to swivel it, you have to loosen it and then turn it, but this one will actually swivel directly when it's attached. And it also has a lock on there, which goes on very easy. Now, do I have that on there straight? It's a little bit crooked, but that's fine for the purposes of this video. You see on the edge here, you have these little safety mechanisms. They actually depress, and then you can slide this on. They're on there to stop you from accidentally sliding this off. So you push one of those down, slide this on, and it'll stay down as you move it across like that, and then you can just lock that off like that, and now you see the monitor is attached. Now this, as you'll see, I'll show you in the top down angle there, it's tight, but it does rotate. You see how it spins there? And it also, I don't want to break the monitor because this one's made of plastic, but you see how it angles as well? But it's very tight, which is good. You don't want it to be loose, so you can angle it, and you can, of course, swivel it too. Lock that up a bit more. Okay, so that is our monitor attached. Now, in terms of the side handle here, there's a couple of different options, but the one that I've been liking recently is this little RE rosette handle. Now, the way that this attaches is in two parts. On the side of the camera, just here, you'll see on the side of the cage, there is a bunch of holes where you can mount this part, which is, did I tell you the number for that? I think I did. 2347, and the Nato Rail was 2172, in case I didn't. So for this handle, which is designed for a right-hand person, just has a nice wooden grip to it. So this part that attaches to the handle is part number 2804. 2 bolts on there, as you can see in the overhead view, and we're just going to attach it into this hole and this hole right here. So we want that. You're going to see this tool is a bit loose. You can just tighten it up there. Mine's just become loose. It does over time, but just tighten it up and they become much firmer like this side is. Okay, hole number 1, hole number 2, tighten those up. Okay, and then that's on there nice and tight. Now, the nice thing about this handle is you can adjust the angle of it. So you basically screw this in, like so. And then the handle is 1941. The small rig right side wooden handle with RE rosette. So when you screw it in completely tight there, there's teeth on either side of the part that connects to the cage and then the handle itself. So that'll just grip into place. If you want to angle it, you just loosen it off slightly and now you can turn it however you want. You can hear the teeth grinding there. So if I want to have it at a slight angle like that, then I could just put it at a slight angle and then tighten it up and then it'll stay into that position, or loosen it off again, move it to the other angle, and it'll stay in that position. So that's a nice thing about that little handle, like that. Okay. On the top of the cage just here, there's actually a little extra cold shoe mount, so you could put something like the Rode Wireless Go on there. Let's slap a lens on the front. We're gonna go with a Sigma 24-70. Pop you on there like that. Now you're gonna notice that if you're using the FX3 and you wanna use the audio top handle, it will not work with this cage. It will work with the other half cage, which we'll show you in a bit, but for the full cage here, it will not work, so you cannot use that. Okay, so if you then wanna attach your HDMI, open that up, and HDMI cable here. There's a small rig one that I like to use. It's a little bit thinner. So there's this one here. There's also these ones, I can't remember the name, from Kondoor Blue. These are really cool. They're braided and they're blue and they stand out, so they're quite nice. Clip that in there. HDMI in on the monitor. The nice thing is they're a little bit shorter as well, so you don't have all that cable loose around. And then once that is in there, you can tighten that up like that, and then that will grip the cable so it can't accidentally come out. So there we go. That is the full cage mount from Small Rig. If you wanted to put the Mattebox on the front from Small Rig, don't have the number to my hand here, but I'll pop it on the screen for you right now, and I have made a whole video about this, so I will link that up there for you as well. Small Rig's newer one, you could attach that as well. Pop that on like that, upside down actually. Okay, put that in like that. Okay. And there you go. That is a good looking cage for the Sony FX3 with a monitor attached to the top. Now, if you didn't want to use a monitor for whatever reason, you could use one of the top handles instead, which we will now attach just to show you how that works. So with these, just so you can see, push that button down. It's a bit fiddly and then that slides off like so. But if you wanted to use a top handle, I've got a few different ones here to show you. So this is a metal black handle, 1955, again attaches with Nato on the top there. You just attach it like that. You also have a longer one with a nice wooden part underneath. The nice thing about the wood is it doesn't get cold to the touch. These metal ones get really cold. They all have Allen keys as well built in, just magnetically on there. And then the same for this one on here. This one is 2362 wooden handle from Small Rig. And you can actually adjust the angle of this as well, so you can loosen it off there and you can actually turn it around as you see right there. So if you wanted to see how this one looks, attach that like that. And then that is with the wooden handle there. If you didn't want to have a monitor, I mean, you could probably mount the monitor somewhere else if you wanted to as well. Just to show you how that works, you can loosen that. You could have the handle on reverse. What you could actually do as well, if you wanted to, you could tighten that up like that. And then, where do we put our monitor? It's right there. This is where you would use, one second, something like this, which I'll put the part number on the screen for. And then with this would allow you to mount the monitor to the edge or to the front of the handle there. So we screw that in like that. I'll put this part number on the screen for you as well. And then this screws directly into the end right there. There's 2 RE locating pins and then the big screw. Screw that in like so. Put the HDMI cable back into its port. Clamp that up. And then this one doesn't swivel, but it does tilt. So then you can angle that up like that. So now you have an FX3 with the handle on there, the top handle, and then the monitor mounted as well. And that's a good looking rig, and that will get you by for a lot of handheld shooting. That's got a good weight to it, so you're not gonna have a lot of those micro shakes. Reduced flares with the Mattebox on the front there. And that's a good rig. But now, let's try a different handle just to show you. Now, this other handle is a little bit special because it has a built-in record function as well. Do I have a battery in here? Yes, I do, because I want to demo this. So this handle will attach to the top here via a Nato Rail. You see it also has a red button on there, and it clicks, and it's because it's a trigger record handle. So this part number is 2670. This attaches a little bit differently. So it doesn't just clamp on like that. You have to slide it on like you did with the other mount there, and then you screw this in to tighten it up like so. We're not going to put a monitor on this one. Just loosen that off. But with this one, you could attach it in the same way onto the front there if you wanted to. Once the handle is attached, attach your USB-C end into the handle just there, and then this part goes into the micro or the multi-interface port, sorry, just down the bottom here. And then you'll see there, when I push this red button on the top, it records, which is pretty cool because it means now you can just kind of go handheld like this, and I can just push the button and that triggers my record instead of having to hit a button down here. It's just a different way of working with a handheld rig if you wanted to do that. Let's detach this and get back to no cage, which I'll probably just skip to that right now. One thing to point out just as I'm detaching this rig here, one of my gripes with the FX3 is that they changed the straps on the top, or the strap mounts on the top, and they're really good now because they're much better than the old school Sony style of doing it. But there wasn't one on the bottom, so they were kind of redundant because you're not going to attach a regular camera strap to this, but if you wanted to use a hand grip, you really couldn't. On both of these Small Rig Cages, there's actually a hand grip mount on the bottom. So my favorite hand grip that I like to use is this one from Tilter. So you can thread it through the top on the camera, put it on the bottom through the cage part there, and you can use a hand strap like this. I really like to use that, and I'm glad that they decided to include that on both this cage and on this cage just here, which we're about to put on once I've taken this one apart. Also, another point, on the bottom here, they've changed this a little bit and it's much better now. They always give you a little magnetic, it's not a key, but it's just a flat part there to unscrew the screw. Previously, this was just attached with magnets. Now there's a little indentation under there, so it kind of locks in, and if it accidentally comes out, it can't. See, it's clicked in there. You have to slide it out, and then you can pull it. So just a nice little design choice, and they did the same thing on this one here as well. So you slide it out, and then you can take it out. It won't just accidentally come out because it's being held in there. These, Kondoor blue. I know a lot of you are going to ask. I'll put a link down below. They're from Kondoor Blue. They're called Cinecaps. They're really hard to get hold of. They're always out of stock. So this is the half cage from Small Rig for the FX3, which also comes with this piece, which attaches directly on the top of the camera. And then this cage is the half cage 3278. Okay. So we're going to attach this directly to the camera. Let's just close up those ports. And you might be wondering what this is for, and I'll show you that once we have it attached. Okay. Screw that in. And again, with this one, there is another mounting point, so that if this does become loose, the camera doesn't swivel inside the cage. Pop that back in there. With this one, it's a little bit different, and we actually need to take off the HDMI clamp for this one, which is attaches exactly the same way as it did on the other cage, just directly on the front there and that screw there. But there's no mounting point on this side because the cage hasn't gone up here. You don't have any extra grip. It goes in this side instead. So get your screw that in there. That just means it can't swivel inside there. Now, with this cage, the nice thing, if you wanted to use the top handle with the XLR inputs, you can still slide this on there, and this will still screw in, and this will still work just... Oh, I haven't got it in properly. There we go. This will still work with this attached, like that. So that's good if you like to use that top handle. So that's one option for you. If you like to, or you don't care about using that, then it also comes with this Nato Rail, which fits perfectly into the two screws on the top there. There's a little arrow directing you which way to attach it. And let's pop that on there. I don't use the XLR handle that much. I mostly use it for recording stuff in the studio here with my Shure SM7B directly plugged into the camera. But today we're not using that. We're using Rode Video NTG, which is above. So that goes on like that. So that's now a Nato Rail. So same way, you can attach these handles here, screw them in like so. And that can go on there like that. But for the purpose of this one, we're going to attach the nice trigger record handle. I'm going to put that on there. So with this one again, push down on there. And then it'll slide on. Tighten this up. I don't know how that attaches. I think when you screw this, something else grips the underneath, but that's on there much sturdier than these feel. These still feel great, just this feels even better. Now, you're gonna notice on the side here now, there isn't a way to attach your handle. You don't really, I mean, you could just put one of these bolts in, but this is gonna move around, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. So with this style of cage, the half cage here, you're gonna be using just the regular camera grip, okay? Now we're gonna put the HDMI clamp back on, and we're going to attach the Rode Wireless Go. Nice little point for it just there, just angled ever so slightly. Okay, so then that could just go directly out of there into my audio port just there. I love this mic, I've been using it a ton recently. Very, very good, very reliable. Where is my cable? Okay, so the monitor we're going to attach to the front of here. Like so. Screw you on. Okay, it's on there like that. And then multi-interface port on the bottom there. And HDMI just here. And pop you in there. Very finicky. So the port door there has to almost sit in the indentation that you can see, hopefully in the overhead view there. And it just almost holds it open. So then you slide that in and tighten that up like so. So then you have that on there. Let's attach the Sigma 24-70 again. Now, one thing I didn't talk about with the other cage, which I'm going to show you quite quickly now, is this on the side here is actually a Nato Rail in itself. So you can slide a handle on here like this wooden handle. I don't have the part number to hand, but I'll put it on screen again for you. So it would work like that. And you could do the same onto this rig here. Now, the only issue with that is that it's going to be angled a little bit further towards the bottom, which isn't an issue. It's still nice to hold. The problem is though, if you put the camera down, obviously it's not going to sit flush to the table. So that's a way to attach the handle on the left there. But we are going to take this off because I wanted to show you something else instead. What this little thing in here is designed for. Now this is more of a niche product, but if you wanted to use manual lenses or follow focus, or you wanted to even attach this to the zoom aspect of this, you could by using SmallRig's follow focus. Now, this slides right into the hole just here. It is a little bit tight, so let's loosen that off. Let's take that off just for now. It slides directly into there like so. Now, you wouldn't really be using this with the Sigma 24-70. There's gears that comes with the follow focus. You attach to the outside of the lens. You can use it for the manual focus ring, or you can use it for the zoom. So then you would loosen this off like that, and you could literally have this so it angles and connects directly to the lens. I don't know if you can see that on the bottom there. So the gear would be on the back of the lens there, and when you turn, in actual fact, it works without. Look at that, there you go. So it doesn't work as good as when the gears are on there, but this follow focus can now control the zoom on my Sigma 24-70. So that's what you could use that on the top there if you wanted to. Did I talk about everything? I think I did. Yeah, that's everything. So these are the two cages from SmallRig, 3277 and 3278. If you're interested in any of this stuff I talked about in today's video, I'll link all the part numbers for you down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.